Welcome back here, back to urlradio.net. The more hits we play, the more hits we get. We're in our second part of the show as we talked here earlier about the Missouri River system. I've got a guy here that I fished a tournament or two with. Spends countless hours on the Missouri River, seen it kind of go through all its ups and downs and good and bads and all that. And here's what he said, and I kind of like this because he goes, okay, ... You asked for it. March through mid-May, the fish are so concentrated and the fishing pressure is getting more and more each year. When this happens, there are way too many females being taken out of the system. It's easy because the fishing is pretty easy and they're like catching fish in a barrel, no pun intended. He also goes on to say that it's fine to be catching this fish, but nobody needs to keep more than 4 fish plus having 4 to 5 pound fish in the live well for taking home. Now granted, when we talk about that, it's not bad to keep a couple, but when guys are keeping 5 to 10 to 15 of those fish, it gets a little bit interesting. But he says during this time, maybe there should be a slot limit, maybe only a slot limit for a selected period of time on the river. Which I don't disagree with. I kind of like that idea of just having it at a certain time, and there's nothing wrong with that. And he also goes on to say, the tagging that has gone on with the studying is an interesting tagging system, being that most of these fish are tagged in the spring and caught in the spring. Where are those big females going? Nobody seems to catch them. I know there's been some controversy about that where they say a lot of these fish go dormant. I have a hard time believing that because I fished enough PWTs over the years where we literally had to drive, 200 miles down into the system into South Dakota to get into the very deep, cool water down on the end of the reservoir and fish extremely deep water, and we'd catch those fish. So it told me that they were going a long way. He suggests that maybe they should check some of the same water during July and August and see what the tagging results imply. And you know what? Maybe they do, and we don't know that yet. So we're going to wait to hear from the Game and Fish to see what they would say about that. And, he's like, I go to other states and I see how they're trying to protect the pre-spawn females. Why are we not trying to protect them here in North Dakota? Another thing that has changed with fishing is the social media. And I agree with that. Fishing websites and cell phones are helping people break down a bite in a quick hurry, and word travels very fast, and that's exactly correct. I mean, you look at some of our ice fishing scenarios where you hear about a hot perch lake, and you can literally have that perch lake fished out within minutes. I mean, it's just crazy when you throw 300, 400, 500 people on a very, very small body of water, how quickly it can get fished out. Because again, electronics and all that stuff has just gotten to the point where guys can break these systems down in a hurry and catch these fish in a hurry. So he goes on to talk, if every fisherman I saw fishing the river this spring kept one female, that would probably amount to about 1,000 females. Multiply that by 50,000 eggs. He goes, to me, that's a lot. They're said that the fishermen harvest up towards 27% of the tagged fish that have been, tagged in this study, but he's like, know of multiple tags and that were not reported as well, and I'm guilty of it. I've thrown some fish back that, were tagged, or I've had a few that I've even actually lost the tags, which kind of, I feel bad about that. But again, I think they're getting some pretty good data on this. I do like the idea of trying to pull that data during July and August and maybe into September just to see where these fish really are. I mean, I'm just super curious on that because I've spent so much time on that body of water pretty much every month of the year, and it is like a ghost town out there in July and August. And they claim a lot of its water temperatures, but hard for me to believe that, especially when I'm catching fish as soon as the ice goes out, in the 30-foot river channel down by Beaver Bay and the casino, and 2 weeks later those fish are up in Bismarck. So it's interesting to me, but again, I think the big thing here is it's, what this gentleman's talking about, and this is a guy, again, I respect a great deal and has done a lot as far as fishing and understands it very well, and he's a very educated individual, but he just thinks that the pressure is getting too great. And, I guess I don't disagree with that. I do think the pressure is kind of getting to the point where, it's fine. The pressure's fine. It's the keeping part that needs to maybe subside just a little bit, and again, try and take care of our systems. But I'm going to jump to another guy here. He kind of goes a little bit shorter. He's not as worded as this last one. He says, the Missouri River, especially here in 2016, I fished as many days on this river as I ever have. The first thing I saw is the big fish are back. Best year since the flood, like we talked about earlier in the program. He says, but there's definitely way more anglers than he's ever seen. With the low waters, he said, toughest navigation in the history for him as long as he's been fishing the river, so that was troublesome. But he also says that with that being that low, it really bottlenecked the fish to certain areas to where they're easily harvested. Females disappeared literally overnight. Whether that was because they were caught or they moved on, we don't know. He also goes on to say it's amazing to him how many $70,000 plus boats are on that river, and most of the guys that are spending that kind of money to fish the system certainly are getting very educated and have the right equipment to really dial this in. So, that makes sense. I like his take. He's a guy that's done very well in a lot of local tournaments and has just got a very good track record on that body of water. So, totally agree with everything he's saying. I got one more here. Basically, kind of to summarize what he's bringing up about our river system is we need more access points. He'd like to see more boat ramps, more fish cleaning tables located up and down the river, ones that you can use at all times of the year, not just when the water warms up or the weather warms up. Some of the fish cleaning stations they do have on the river, by the time they do open them, you can't use them because basically the fish are gone, and it's totally true. He says we'd really like to see more fish cleaning tables like they got at the Hazelton boat ramp, where you can fillet your fish. They've got garbage cans there, and people that come in each and every day to take those out, the guts out, and not have it pile up. And with our new laws that are in place, with pulling your live well plugs, not being able to transport those fish in your live wells, having to drain that, it would be nice to have more places where we can clean fish rather than travel them across town or whatever in a dry live well. So I like his take. He also goes on to say that we do need a slot limit, and he actually kind of echoes what I'm saying, where he doesn't think it needs to be all year long, and it certainly doesn't need to be anything extravagant, maybe just during the months of the spawn where you're only getting to keep one fish over 20 inches. And he says it's not for reproduction, it's for catching more fish and getting more youngsters to catch more fish if the fishing's better. And I don't disagree with that because, again, once you catch them, they're gone. They're not there anymore, and that's pretty easy logic. But when you really look at it, it's something that, I've spent enough time on that body of water where I've caught an awful lot of fish that I've caught multiple times, not just once. I've caught certain fish 3, 4, 5 times. And again, if I'd have kept it, I wouldn't catch that fish, and we all know how fun it is to bend rods and reel in fish. So certainly something to look at. But we're going to pause here again. We're going to take another break. Remember, all our sponsors are taking care of our program here and keeping us going. And I know we've probably struck a nerve with somebody on this, and that's fine. Please get in touch with us. Let's talk about it. Give me your take. I want to express that and share that. I know it's somewhat lopsided. Maybe it's for good reason today that it is. I don't know. I can't answer that. But we're going to come back here after the break and talk a little bit about next week's program and some of the things that are going on. We certainly got a great fishing report that was live from Lake Sakakawea, and you can listen to that as well. And again, if you want more, just let us know. We're going to give you whatever we can give you, because that's what this is all about. We want this to be a program where it's, again, not just North Dakota, not just Bismarck. It's going to travel. It's going to go all over, different takes, different views, different types of things that we got going on. So certainly excited. I know this is early in this program's history, but it's gaining a lot of attention already, and we're so excited for that. And I want to thank everybody that is listening to this and super, super excited for it. So stay tuned. We'll be back here after the break.
Whoa.